Good morning, everyone. So I'm relatively new to role. I've been Chief Executive of the Small Charities Coalition for about 4 months, and I've spent the first 4 months in role travelling around the country meeting with small charities. And in my travels, I found this lovely little man who I called Ruff. Now, I work in an office in South London that is just next to a fly tipping spot, which to me is absolute heaven because I am the sort of person who loves things that have been thrown away. And when I found Ruff, I just thought he represents so many of the small charities that I've met on my travels, because he's been squeezed and hugged and loved so much that he's lost a lot of the stuffing in his neck. And he looks a bit sad and he was all dirty, and so I took him home and I washed him and I tried to give him to one of my sons. My son said, "I don't want him, Mummy, he's old." And I thought, oh, poor Ruff. And so I thought, there's so much life left in Ruff, what can I do? And I don't know if any of you have seen, but there's a large national charity that's going around with dogs with contactless payments on their back. So what I've done is I've got Ruff his own little contactless payment device. And Ruff is now my digitally transformed collection device that I take with me to events to solicit donations for the Small Charities Coalition. And surprise, surprise, people suddenly start donating to an infrastructure body because I've used digital to make donating a little bit more exciting. So I think he's a really good demonstration to small charities of how for £22 you can become digital and start fundraising. But I also think he's a really good analogy for small charities because Ruff is really weighed down by his digital device, and if he's not used properly, he doesn't know what to do with it. And it's really interesting when you hear the likes of Baroness Jill Pitt-Keithley, who I have so much admiration for, but what she's advising small charities to do is get a website or get onto social media. And to me, that's what we should have been advising charities to do 10 years ago. Actually, the world has moved on, and if all we're advising small charities to do is get a website, we're not encouraging them to become digital. Because for me, digital is about embracing solutions to challenges that we're facing. So it absolutely starts with identifying those problems, not thinking, how can I whack something digital on a dog to make it funny? It's about thinking, what are the challenges that collectively we're facing that we can address through technology? And I wrote a blog about my digital vision for the small charity sector because I'm incredibly frustrated by the state of digital across small charities at the moment. I used to work for Cancer Research UK. Cancer Research UK has 20 in-house developers. It has 2 Scrum Masters. I'm kind of presuming the majority of the room doesn't even know what a Scrum Master is. It has 6 people who specialise in the user experience of when you engage with digital in Cancer Research UK. It's far, far, far above the means of any of the charities that we work with on a daily basis. However, my challenge to you today is how can we collectively as infrastructure bodies come together to listen to the challenges that we hear our small charities facing and present solutions to them. So I think there's 2 areas that we really need to focus on. One is how can we get small charities really diagnosing their own problems so they know to where to start when they're looking at digital for solutions. And then secondly, how can we collectively work on projects that will help everyone everywhere? So one of the projects that we're working on at the Small Charities Coalition at the moment is just how we start to automate our helpline. And the reason that I've chosen this as one of the first challenges that we're going to address is because I know that there are small charities across the country with helplines, and they're all run by fantastic volunteers and a load of spreadsheets and pieces of scrappy paper. And I know that we can get more people volunteering really simply if we start automating the way that we bring them into our small charities. So it's a simple challenge that I think we can solve collectively. So my provocation for you all today is, how do we get people thinking about their challenges, and then how do we collectively think about the solutions, and how can technology be a part of that? Thank you.